We've learned that federal investigators are examining the University of Phoenix for possible deceptive or unfair business practices. News 4 has tracked similar accusations against other for-profit colleges. Here's what we know about this latest case.
And now the company is charging them over $1,000 to get out of that lease. Can you explain that?
This won't be the last problem we'll hear regarding Terry Marlar. Looks like we were right. Terry's up to his old tricks, handing out flyers, taking money, and then disappearing. Jason says when the computer stops working, he'll lose control of things like the radio or even his backup camera.
What's wrong with this system, and what does it take to fix it?
By surveying contractors, we determined the job Ginny got should have cost $2,000, not $4,000. Kevin, my name is Mike Colombo here from Channel 4. Want to let you know we're recording.
It always hurts when someone takes or keeps money that is rightfully yours.
That is certainly the case for a Metro East family. A dispute involving thousands of dollars and their son was keeping a mother and father from healing and closing a painful chapter in their lives. They called Colombo and he got results and the money.
We sent letters. We've had attorneys send letters and virtually no response, just total frustration that way.
Glenn Morgan says he's now the second member of his family to receive the same runaround from Granite City-based Premier CDL Training Services. Glenn's son Joel paid nearly $3,700 to take trucking classes at Premier before changing his mind just prior to the program's cancellation deadline. Joel was entitled to a full refund, but 3.5 months later, he'd received nothing.
He started off, impatient. Then he got angry, then he was frustrated, then he was hurt.
On December 5th, Joel's family says the stresses in his life, which now included the ongoing fight for his refund from Premier CDL, became too much for him to handle.
He was really down, he was depressed, to a depth we didn't know, and Joel took his own life.
As the one-year anniversary of that tragic day nears, the Morgans want to settle Joel's estate. To do that, Premier CDL needs to do what Glenn believes the company should have done more than a year ago.
You know, as a parent, you always want to protect your kids if they're 4, if they're 44. And I wasn't able to do that. He never asked for it. He was taking care of it himself, and I need to finish it for him.
That's where we got involved. I stopped by Premier to speak with owner Ann Bauza. She was too busy to chat in person, but we later talked on the phone. She told me she thought the check was sent. I politely explained it wasn't. A day later,
I found it remarkable that I got such a quick response, that evidently your visit to the office on that same day we talked had an impact on them.
A few days after that, the Morgans received this check in the mail made out to Joel's estate.
I contacted you on the 20th of the month. You responded on the 22nd. You had results on the 23rd. And the fact that I'd spent so much time and energy and couldn't get anywhere, what you did was truly amazing.
A rewarding resolution for a family seeking comfort and closure. I'm Mike Colombo, News 4.
A St. Louis County teen buys an expensive video game system and he gets a very unpleasant surprise.
Yeah, listen to this, and an even more unpleasant response from the store. Then he called Colombo and things changed.
Sony's PlayStation 4 is one of the hottest gaming systems on the planet. As you might imagine, Edward Griffin was ready to let the games begin when he bought a new PS4 from the Delwood Walmart. But he quickly realized it was game over before he'd even started playing with his new toy.
And this how it came up. And it looked like it'd been used and scratched, it's worn out.
That new PS4 was actually an old beat-up PlayStation 3.
I turned to my sister and I'm like, guess what? She's like, what? I'm like, this is a PS3. She's like, nah. I'm like, yes, it is.
Edward went right back to Walmart to alert them of the problem and make an exchange. But the managers he talked to said in-store records showed the PS4 he bought had never previously left the store.
They said that it could have been me or the person who, the company like Sony who could have messed it up.
We contacted Walmart headquarters in Arkansas. The spokesperson we talked to stood behind the store manager's decision, saying the PS4 in question was never sold or returned. Well, we weren't finished. After we asked a few more questions, store managers took one more look. And guess what? A new review showed the PS4 Edward bought was previously sold and returned before he bought it. Walmart apologized to Edward, exchanged that ratty PS3 for the brand new PS4 he should have had, and gave him a $100 gift card. He tells us this time he opened the box before he left the store. That brings us to the lesson of this report. There is one surefire way you can make sure this never happens to you. When you buy an expensive item of any sort, ask to take it out of the box in the presence of a manager before you leave. That way, no one can ever accuse you of playing games. I'm Mike Colombo, News 4.
A St. Louis writer looking for work found a scam instead.
And like many scams that we've reported on, this all started on Craigslist. That is where she came across an ad for a job as a writer. But right away, there were problems. The supposed editor couldn't answer simple questions, and then he sent her a check for more than she was supposed to be paid before she even did any work. He asked her to send the extra money to someone else. This was a classic advance fee scheme. So she called Colombo, who shows us the story does have a happy ending.
Another call, another scam.
I don't want anyone to, to be caught up in this.
Sometimes these stories write themselves.
A beginning, a middle, and an end.
Since Cheryl's a writer, some advice.
What's the key to every good story?
It needs, I think it needs a hero
Well, look no further.
and, a villain.
All right, no hero yet. More about the villain.
I just hate that there are people out there like this that prey on people.
Hate fueled by a Craigslist job post for a writer. She responded, and the red flags followed.
But the big one was when I got that email telling me, you're going to receive a check in excess of your payment and to take this to your bank, to cash your deposit. And I thought, no, I will not be doing that.
How's that for writing your own happy ending?
I love that I can tell a story that might make a difference with someone.
Story told, difference made. Hero beats villain. As for that check,
I want to set it on fire.
be careful. I'm Mike Colombo, News 4.
Good, simple advice. Well, if you find yourself in a similar situation, the advice is to do what Cheryl did and ask a lot of questions. Always remember, anytime someone offers you a job or says you've won something and then asks you to send them money, it is a scam.